I'm going to be demonstrating today how we're doing UDAP testing, HL7 UDAP testing at the Connectathon in a couple of weeks. So let's take a look. I'm at the homepage for Touchstone right now, and I want to show you how we test this requirement from the HL7 UDAP or Fast Security IG. Implementation supporting UDAP workflows shall support RS-256. So this one little requirement is deceptive because it implies that we need to cover the whole workflow. So let's do that. Here's the test that we have created for this. I've already created a test setup for this, and that test setup requires both a resource server actor and an authorization server actor, and I've assigned those to the SureScripts RI. I'm using a Postman client for this so that I can drive it with a Postman collection. And it's going to access a particular patient ID. So this is all set up. So let's execute this. And when we execute it, it's going to say it's waiting for a request. And you can see the steps that we're waiting. It's waiting for this discovery. So let's go to our thing. We've got our entire workflow here set up as a Postman collection. These will be available to you all, and I'm going to run this. Alright, so discovery, register, get token, and get patient. Looks like we got 200s the whole way. Let's go back to Touchstone and refresh and see what happened. Alright, we passed everything. So here's what we did here. We have a step for each of the transactions. This is a standard step that shows up in any of our UDAP test scripts, and this does quite a bit. If we open this up, you can see that it checks the get operation. You can open this and see the actual request headers. You can see it doesn't have a request body, but it has a response body. You can see everything that was supplied there. But then we've got a number of asserts that operate on that request and response. And we're checking a bunch of things. You can see that some are very simple things. So we're just checking for the UDAP job-based authentication. That is looking for this path in the in this source. So it's going to look for that, and it's going to find it. And then some are more complex. So here's an example of an assert that is a conditional assert. So it's going to first check if it includes client credentials in the grant type supported parameter, and then it requires that we have this. So this conditional is not supported by the test script resource, but what we've done in Touchstone is we have groovy rules that we can do, that we can use that do these above and beyond things. So this groovy rule takes an if JSON path, so it's going to apply this path and this operator. So if this path contains this value, then it's going to make sure that this path contains this value, and that's what that evaluates. And you can take a look at that and see for yourself. So we've got that, and then we've got some conditional assertions that were skipped because the condition wasn't met. We have some things that are manual verifications that you have to do it yourself. And then we have some things where couple of warnings where there was a suggested algorithm to be supported, but it wasn't in there. At any rate, all those things are checked. And I should mention that this also has things that evaluate the signed JOT, so that the signed metadata at the end. So here we decode the metadata, so you don't have to just look at the metadata as a base64 encoded thing. You can actually see the header and payload that we have extracted from it. So here's the payload, and then once we've extracted that, we can apply rules to that. So we can do that, and then we look into those things, and we can check that the issuer matches the server's base URL, that it matches the subject. We can check the expiration is no more than 1 year after it was issued, and then we can compare the endpoints that the signed endpoints match what was in the JSON metadata. So you can see that. And so there's that one from the JSON, and then here is the one in the signed metadata. And so all those things worked. All right, so that's the basic checks, but our one little requirement was beyond that. We were going to do additional checks. So that is at every step we're going to make sure that we had the RS-256 algorithm. So we have that, we have the registration, and then we're going to make sure that the software statement was signed with RS-256. Same thing with the access token. And then when we finish that, we're going to do the read. Here's our patient read. Here's our response. There's the patient we got back, and you can see that we do a few checks on this. There was JSON that's got a body, etc. And then our final check here is that we actually used the access token that we had obtained as a bearer token in the authorization header. And so that checked out. And if you want to see for sure, then when you look at the here's the authorization header, there's the bearer, and this is the same token that we obtained in step 5. Okay, so that's it. Whistle Stop Tour. We've got a whole lot more tests available, and we look forward to seeing you at the Connectathon.